Hello and welcome along. In today's video I'm going to be giving a quick brief update on developments in Farming Simulator 19 over the past 3 weeks or so. This is a summary really of the last two dev blogs, along with several other small updates that have happened as well. And so without further ado, let's get into it with the first of Giant's dev blogs. This was released on July the 21st, and it mainly covered the improved farm creation that is available with FS19. And the first bit of this really is there's a massive change to the way land is handled in FS19. So from now, instead of owning fields as you do in FS17, what you have is fields are no longer purchased. Instead, you buy areas on the map, and those can include fields or forests or building space, things like that. Land is also now much more flexible in FS19, and so you can use it pretty much for whatever you want. So you can use it to create your own fields, to place your farm buildings and build your farm in any area of the map, or place pastures for your animals, or you can buy forests and cut down trees. It's a really flexible, really interesting new system that they are implementing as far as how the whole thing is allows you to do gameplay. And talking of that, what we have is three new game modes. So no longer do you have easy, normal and hard, and these three new game modes are very much set up to support this new farm creation system. You have the new farmer that starts you with a small pre-placed farm, some starting equipment, and basically gets you going, gives you a good start, very similar to how Farming Simulator works at the moment, and you can go straight in and you can start upgrading and start working the land and everything. The second game mode is called Farm Manager, and this gives you a large amount of money to start with, but you get no equipment, no place buildings and no land. So you basically start with a blank slate on the map with plenty of money to get yourself going. And what you can do is you can go out and you can select the best place for your farm and get started and get building. And this one and the next one, these are the really exciting bits for me in FS19. The third one, which I will cover quickly before I talk about these a little bit more, is Start From Scratch, which is almost identical to Farm Manager, except that you now start with a very limited amount of money and all the realistic settings enabled. Now the one realistic setting we know about at the moment is crop destruction, but from the sounds of it, there are going to be a lot more realistic settings. So I look forward to finding out what those are. This is a hardcore mode. This is very much going to be a realistic player's mode, and I'm so looking forward to having a go with this. And yeah, so these last two, the whole thing of starting with nothing on the map and building up from that, I love that idea, and it's just going to make no two players are going to play a Farming Simulator map in the same way again, and that is very exciting. That is absolutely incredible. Now, to support this, we also have a new placeable system. So this means that basically the entirety to build your farm is now placeable, and you can expand and you can put bigger versions of bits in the farm, and to me that's really exciting. You can add to the look of your farm with new decorational placeables. Pastures for animals are now placeables. Silos are placeables. You know, everything is a placeable item to build your farm. You can also set your spawn point. Putting your house down gives you your spawn point, but also allows you to get your dog. And I love that as well. That's brilliant. You know, that's a great way of going of solving the problem that you would have a set spawn point on a map. So yeah, I love that your house is your spawn point, and that is absolutely fantastic. Multiplayer, similarly, has multiple farms, so you can have a player or teams of players can have their own farms to work on, which is amazing. It's almost competitive multiplayer, and that to me is a fantastic thing. That is going to really rejuvenate multiplayer and make multiplayer an even more interesting thing to do. And as part of that, your individual players in multiplayer now can have their own separate areas of the map and specialize in whatever type of farming they want. So you could have a sheep farmer on one corner, you could have a cow farmer on another, you could have a purely arable farmer in another, or you could have 2 cow farmers. There are now endless possibilities with multiplayer as well, which is absolutely fantastic. All these new systems now are also supported by for modding, so mod makers and map makers can extend these to their heart's content. Mod makers can of course make new placeables, stuff that can be useful in the farm, new designs of houses, new designs of barns, all sorts of things like that. But the thing that really excites me are what map creators are going to be able to do with this. I love the idea of having a set non-placeable farm with 4 or 5 fields that you go in and you have to buy that area of the map. I love that idea, and admittedly that then gets round the whole placeables idea, but you could have that as one option, and then somebody could go and build off somewhere else on the map in a place that isn't expected or hasn't been set up to be a farm area. And to me, there's a lot of exciting, interesting opportunities here, and I cannot wait to see how this is used. So that is basically an overview of the first dev blog. On August the 3rd, a second dev blog was released, and this one covered the new mission system. This to me is also a very exciting new addition to FS19. It was built by Raikin, who is known as part of Realism's Modding, who built Seasons, and to me this is an absolute gem of a thing to have added into FS19. So you no longer have to travel around the map to get missions. You have a new contracts menu, which you can see up on screen at the moment. This means you no longer have to travel around the map to find missions. Mission details all appear in this, so you can see everything for every currently available mission, how much they will pay, what you're expected to do, equipment that is available or that the farmer will lend you, or the equipment that you need to do it. Which brings us onto a couple more bits. Missions are no longer time limited, which is another great thing. You can do missions at your own leisure. You can now save while a mission is in progress. And as I said, missions can now be done either with your own equipment or leased from the farmer for a fee. The beauty of this is, coupled with the new land purchasing system, you do not have to buy any land to do farming. So you can become a contractor. You could come into the game, buy yourself some specialist machinery, and go and contract, which is fantastic. That is absolutely awesome. You could play Farm Sim and do missions and everything, and never buy a field, and it would be fantastic. I love that idea. So a whole new style of gameplay in being a contractor from the new mission system. Absolutely fantastic. We also have mission types have been updated. So you've got all the standard missions from Farming Simulator 17. So you've got your harvesting missions, you've got your spraying missions, you've got your sowing missions, and your ploughing missions, and all those great things. I believe, although I think I need to get confirmation on this, that if you do a harvesting mission, you now also have to cart the grain. You no longer just drive a combine around the field with an infinitely large tank. You do actually have to empty the tank and cart the grain, which I love. I love the fact that it's the whole process. And I think that partly comes from the implementation of the new mission types. So the first new mission type that exists is hay and silage baling. So this involves the full process, from cutting the grass to tedding it if you're making hay, to baling it, to wrapping it if you're making silage bales, to then delivering the bales to wherever they need to go, which is fantastic. To be able to do that whole process is utterly awesome, and is no longer missions and contracts and things are no longer this unrealistic thing. It is the whole process that you are required to do to complete a mission. Similarly, weeding, because of the way weeds now exist in Farming Simulator 19, weeding missions are a separate thing from fertizing missions. So a weeder will be required for not very developed weeds, and a sprayer is required for more developed weeds. So like the normal farming part of the game with the weeds, there are weeding missions that it also deal with weeds and not just fertilizing. And then another big thing, transport missions are back in, having taken a game away, having last been seen in FS15. They require you to deliver goods between two locations on the map. Absolutely brilliant. Huge variety in missions now, and I love that. I love that with the whole contracting thing available, you also have a large variety of missions. That is absolutely awesome. We then have a couple of other sort of miscellaneous missions updates. Equipment leasing in general in the game, that still exists. You can still go and lease equipment, and if you want to try out a tractor before you go and spend a huge amount of money on it in game, or if you early in the game when you have a limited amount of cash, you want to hire a vehicle or a piece of equipment instead of buying it outright for a huge amount of money, you can do that, which is fantastic. And missions are now also available in multiplayer. So what we were talking about with Devlog 1, where you could have somebody who concentrates on arable or cows or pigs or whatever, you could have a team or a player on a map who concentrates on doing contracting work. Again, absolutely fantastic. I love the variety that exists in FS19. Final update for this this devlog. As you can see on screen at the moment, we got a screenshot in with this devlog, which includes the HUD, the new HUD in game, which is so clean and clear and non-intrusive. So in FS15 and FS17 you had sort of these big black or white, in the case of FS15's, boxes all over the screen. Here the background of the HUD is clear, is transparent, and so you get a lot less intrusion with it, and you get to see a lot more of the farming and a lot more of the gameplay, and I love that. That is a fantastic update. So all in all, Devlog 2 holds some really nice updates, and more than anything so far, Devlog 2 has got me massively excited for FS19. Finally, we have a few miscellaneous updates for the game. Came out on Giants Discord a few days ago. We had some updates for the horses and the dogs, which we will get to in a moment. But first, we're up other horses. Horses start off as bad horses. By that, I think that they mean that they're untrained, they're untamed, and they need a lot of work on them. You can have up to 16 horses in game. They don't breed, so you can't breed horses. The only way to get them will be to buy them in. When you have horses, you need to feed, water, clean, train, and ride them. And this is also something that can't be done by a helper. And when you do this, they increase in their value and in their ability, and they get a star rating, each of the horses. And when they reach 5 stars, that is the point you can sell them for the maximum price that you could make on them. I don't know if you can sell them before that point, and that is probably something that we need clarified coming up, but yeah, you definitely can sell them for a good price at 5 stars, which is brilliant. Moving on, we've got the dogs, and the update to the dogs is dogs are a nice to have item. They got no they run around for no reason, and they bark. They will follow you around, and they will come when you call them, but the big thing about them is that they don't have an in-game function. They're there for the atmosphere, they're there to add to the immersion of the game, but yeah, there's no actual functionality to them. I really like the idea of having dogs in the game, and I really love seeing that kind of level of immersion in it. And for me, that's brilliant. I have seen a few people sort of question why spend all the time developing them if they aren't going to actually add anything to the game functionality wise. It's something I disagree with a little bit, because I think adding immersion into the game is a great function, is something that's there, like adding birds and like adding deer that we know with the wildlife. So yeah, I love the idea of dogs, and I will certainly be having one on most of my gameplays, I think. Next, we've got 3 screens which are new machinery. 2 of them are new images. The first up is the Elmer's Hallmaster. This was revealed on the Elmer's, I think it was released on the Elmer's Facebook page initially. It is an overloader, and it is the one that we saw behind the John Deere in one of the first screenshots, one of the earlier screenshots. Yeah, it looks like a nice piece of kit, a really big piece of kit, and very nice. There is a tractor on the front of it, which we will come to in a moment. But yes, the Elmer's Hallmaster is a nice piece of kit. The second one is in the same article that released the information about horses and dogs. We got to see 2 other pieces, or got 2 more pieces of information. So the second, you may recognise this photo. This has been seen a fair amount around already. The thing we're interested in here is on the right hand side. You can see a very large grain trailer. In the article that first released the information about the horses and the dogs, this was revealed to be a Western pace setter. So we have had confirmation now that Western is in the game, and their big pace setter, gravity tipping trailers, those are in the game as well, which is awesome. For an American map, that is a fantastic thing to have. And our final image links up to that first image of the Elmer's Hallmaster. This is a Fendt 1100 MT. Also, this was revealed in the same article that revealed the information about the horses and the dogs. Great to see this Fendt tractor in the game. It is it's a European version of a Challenger, I believe. Yeah, great to see the Fendt in the game. Second tractor that we know of, and yeah, really nice looking tractor. Finally, we do have one other update, sort of sitting on its own here, because I didn't really know where to put this, and that is the working windscreen wipers. So one of the things that was said at FarmCon is that they were trying to solve the rain coming through the roofs, and thought they'd solved it, and once they did that, they added working windscreen wipers, and then made a change to the game that meant the rain started coming through the roofs again, and they disabled those wipers. We've now had confirmation that the windscreen wipers have been re-enabled in the game. So FS19 will come with working windscreen wipers when it rains. Whether that means the rain is no longer coming through the roofs or not, we don't know. But certainly we are going to have working windscreen wipers on vehicles in FS19, which is absolutely fantastic. Again, adds that extra little bit of detail that I'm loving about FS19. All these little bits and pieces that just adds to the immersion and adds to the realism of it. So really, that is it for this update. I'm really quite excited. These are some great updates, and I'm really excited about the whole thing, really. The sources for all of this I will put in the description. If you want to go and check those out, please do. I will also link to the various Instagram posts I have put up, which have all of the images that you've seen in this video. But for now, all that remains is for me to say thank you for watching. I hope you have enjoyed this update. Please give it a like, drop us a comment, and give it a share. And for all the latest videos and live streams from FendtFarmer, please subscribe to the channel, and I will see you next time. Goodbye.